All right, hello and welcome everybody to another Wednesday with me, Karim, on the Smart English channel. And if you guys can hear me, type yes in the chat so that I know that everything's okay. Yes, there we go. Judith always answers first. All right, so hello and welcome to another Wednesday with me, Karim. This is the Smart English YouTube channel, and let me just say hello very quickly to everybody who's in the chat. Who do we have? We have Mukhtar. Hello, Mukhtar. We have Anderni. Hello, Anderni. Gertrudis is here from the Dominican Republic. Hello, Gertrudis. Gloria. We have Lolly as usual. Douglas is here. Hello, Douglas, and thank you for coming. Fatah is also here from Turkey. Hello, Fatah. Naima is here again. Welcome back, Naima. Nader is also here. Hello, Nader. Who else do we have? We also have Ilana Palmer in the chat. So for you guys that don't know, Ilana is a colleague of mine. That means she works here with us at Smrt. So very nice to have Ilana. Hello, Ilana. And she's I guess she can moderate the chat today, which is always nice to have. Who else do we have? We have Adnan. Hello, Adnan. Muhammad Abu Leila is also here. Hello, Muhammad. Dun. Ain't the same, the real. Haven't seen you in a while. Very nice to see you again. Ain't the same. I love that name. Ain't the same, the real. Team 95 is also here. Hello, Team 95. Douglas is also here. Hello, Douglas. Judith is here. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. Tamim is also here. Hello, Tamim. Welcome to the class. Muhammad is also here. Hello, Muhammad. Muhammad Halou or Haloui, I'm sorry. Mrs. Emily 1235. Hello, Mrs. Emily 1235 from Poland. Welcome to the class. Very nice to have you. Pilar is, of course, here as usual. Igor is also here. And I believe, we also have Noor. Hello, Noor. Noor is always in the class. Very nice to have you. Beatrice is also here. Hello, Beatrice. Munira is here. Welcome back, Munira. And I believe that is everybody. So hello and thank you guys for coming to the class. Today what are we doing today? Today we're doing, I believe I said, indirect questions, or how to ask indirect questions. Marjorie is also here. Hello, Marjorie, and welcome to the class. Very nice to have everybody here today. All right, so let me do my quick intro. And actually, it's a little bit hot in the room here today, so I am going to take off my jacket. Carolina is waving and saying hi. This is my first time. Hello, Carolina, and welcome to the class. Very nice to have you. Hopefully it will not be your last time with us. Summer, there she is. Summer made it, everybody. Hello, Summer, and welcome to the class. Vinicius is also here. I think a lot of people are going to start popping into the class right now. So please forgive me if I miss your name or if I don't see it. There we go. Emilia is also here, and Vitor is here, and Zainab is here, and a lot of people are joining the class, which is always great. I like it when we have a lot of students in the class. It's always fun. All right, let me do my introduction, and then we'll get down to today's lesson. So let me go small with my favorite, very smooth transition. Pow, like that. So smooth. All right. Is it hot in Vancouver today? Yes, it's a little bit hot in Vancouver today. It's sunny, and the weather is pretty hot. Actually, I don't know what's the temperature today. Today, according to my phone, it's 21 degrees, which I know is really funny to a lot of people out there who live in really hot countries. 21 is probably like a nice chill day in most areas, but yeah, it's hot in Vancouver. It's actually hot in Vancouver. It feels hot in Vancouver. Morocco, it's 38. Yeah, I know. I'm going on vacation next month, and or at the end of this month, and where I'm going, it's going to be in the 40s, right? So 40 degrees Celsius and things like that. Which is, I'm looking forward to the vacation, but I'm scared of the weather. All right, so let me do the introduction, and we'll get to today's lesson. 41 in Mecca, very hot in Mecca right now. It's funny, especially for us who live. Yeah, I know. I said 21. I'm sure it's going to be funny to a lot of you out there, but for Canadians, 21 degrees is actually, it's not that bad, to be honest. But it feels hotter, right? It feels much hotter when you stand in the sun for a while. All right, here we go. So, boom, boom, boom. Let me get into my what's happening here. What's happening? I think I need to refresh. Maybe that's the problem. There we go. All right, so everybody, you are watching the show on the Smrt English YouTube channel. If you're here, then you should already know this by now. However, if you have not done so yet, we would really appreciate it if you guys hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification button. That way, and especially if you like our videos, right? If you're watching this video right now, you don't have to like it now. You can wait until the end. But please react somehow. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, well, then give us a thumbs down, right? It gives us some information that we can hopefully use and make better videos in the future. So please don't forget to like the videos, or not like them if you don't like them, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you scroll all the way down on the Smrt page, you'll find my face, boop-de-boop, on my face. Boop-de-boop means click on my face. That's the word that I'm using for click from now on. So boop-de-boop on my face, and it's going to take you to my page, which is Smrt English with Karim. I focus on much shorter lessons on my own channel, right? So I do some fun videos where I show you Vancouver as I walk around the city and things like that. But I also do some videos about phrasal verbs or phrases or expressions or idioms and things like that. So the videos are much shorter. So please come and check it out. Subscribe to that channel too. Hopefully you will also like the content over there. Also, for those of you who don't know, I have a private channel on YouTube. It's called Food AF. I don't teach really English on this channel, but I talk in English so you guys can practice listening. It's a channel about food, as you should be able to guess. So yeah, if you like food, if you like to eat, I would love it if you guys can come and check me out over there. Our Facebook group is the best. That's my face is everywhere. Our Facebook group, which is called Learn English on Facebook with Smrt. This is the best place. I say this every lesson. This is the best place for you guys to go and post questions that I don't have time to answer during the live classes, or that I just choose not to answer because usually I like to focus on the topic that I'm teaching. So this is where you should do that. If you have any questions, you want help with something, anything really that's related to English, please join us on Facebook, and basically this is the group to do that sort of stuff. Also, this is where I post updates or notifications about anything that I'm doing or anything that's going on with Smrt, right? So it's a good place to join and ask English related questions. It's a nice, very active group. It's quite large. A lot of people, somebody will always answer you, right? So don't worry about finding an answer to your question. People will always answer. One more thing is our Discord channel, and you can see Gertrudis. Gertrudis is in the chat, by the way. She was here in Vancouver a few weeks ago, and this is actually her picture in our entrance downstairs. So yeah, so this is Discord, which is also another cool place to hang. These are more pictures from Gertrudis, by the way. So this is here. This is CCEL here in Vancouver, and that's Gertrudis right there. And this is one of our classrooms. So yeah, so you guys can come and join us on the Discord. It's a fun place. We hang out with each other. We can post pictures, talk, just a place to hang out, basically. So I'll give you guys the link for that right now in the chat. And very simply, just click on the link. It's going to take you to the Discord page. It's going to tell you that you have been invited by Smrt. Accept. You can create an account. It's free. It's going to cost you nothing, and then you can join the Discord family too. One last thing I want to mention before I close. For the people that ask about how to donate, right? How do we donate to you guys, or how do we support you guys, or hey, I really I really appreciate what you did, and I want to somehow, show a little love, or I want to give you guys some money. Basically, a lot of people were asking about that, so this is what this page is for. You can get to this page from smartenglish.com, or in the description under any of our videos on YouTube, there's a link that will take you to this page. And as you can see, you can subscribe for $5 a month to me or to Kent if you feel that we deserve that. If not, don't worry about it. We will never ask for your money for these classes. These classes are always going to be free. We will never charge you anything for these classes. This is just for those people who are wondering, hey, how do I give you guys something if I want to? So you can do that from there. Right? You can subscribe to me for $5 a month, or to Kent, or to both of us, or to neither of us, right? So don't worry, it's optional. You do not have to do this, okay? And the other way to do this is from the what's it called? It's from the chat. So this is the chat that I'm looking at right now on the other screen, and this is all you guys. So if you guys notice at the bottom of the chat, there's a $sign, and if you click on it, it says Super Chat. And if you send a super chat, this is how you can also do this, right? So that's another way to do that. So from within the chat, if you guys have a credit card or something like that, basically you can directly donate through the chat over here. And that is pretty much it. These are the different ways that you guys can support or donate or whatever you want to call it to the channel or to Kent and I. And that's it. Igor is saying, I have no money, but you are awesome. See, that's what I mean, Igor. Don't worry about it, right? You don't have to do this. We are. It's not a requirement, right? It's not necessary. Ain't saying the real is saying, finally, hey? Yeah, finally, yeah. There's a way for you guys to donate and support now. So that is pretty much it. Dun, 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 dun. Anything interesting happening in the channel? Noor says, I like Karim's food because it gives me a lot of hungry. You should say, I like Karim's food because it makes me hungry, or it makes me very hungry. But thank you, Noor. I appreciate that. That's how you know when food is good, right? If it makes you hungry just by looking at it, that usually, well, actually not true, right? Because it could look good, but taste horrible. All right, Douglas is also here. Hello, Douglas, and welcome to the class. And Dina, Douglas and Dina just entered the class. All right, that's it. Enough of the introduction. Let's get down to movie quote of the week for last week. And I believe the winner was. Let me find it just so I don't make a mistake and then you guys lose it in the chat. I believe it was Summer, which is not surprising, and it's not a shock for anybody if you're watching these classes for any or if you have been watching these classes for any length of time. So let's see. Boom, and yes, it was Summer, right? So Summer, I know you're in the chat today. Congratulations and a virtual high five to you. Good job, as usual. So this was the quote last week. He was the only man I ever killed, worth remembering. And this is from the awesome movie Gangs of New York, which is an old, yeah, you could say it's pretty old now. It's an old, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis movie. And this was said by Daniel Day-Lewis, right? His character was called The Butcher, and his character was awesome. I really recommend you guys watch this movie if you haven't, specifically for this man right here. Leonardo DiCaprio is okay, but Daniel Day-Lewis, it's hard to look good when you're acting next to Daniel Day-Lewis. All right, so stick around to the end of the lesson today, and I'm going to give you the new movie quote of the week this week and give you guys a chance to beat Summer. All right, that's it. Intro done. I think I'm getting much faster at my intros, and things are going smooth. All right, so let's get to today's lesson. Let me just find it. It's in the library, and we are doing Smart English 120. And I can't believe that we almost went through the entire level here. We're almost at the end, which is kind of cool. You guys have been with me throughout a very long journey here in in level 120. Mansour, hi Mansour, welcome to the class. Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. All right. So today I said we're doing indirect questions, right? So that's what we're doing. Unit 11.1, indirect questions. All right. Let's not waste any more time and let's. You guys are chatting a lot today. What's happening? What's your favorite dish to cook? That is a very hard question to answer, Gloria. And I can't answer that question. I don't have a favorite dish to cook because I don't know. Like food evolves over time, right? Especially cooking. Like I always like to try new things and to create new things, and so it's I don't know really. I don't have a favorite dish, but if you watch my channel, you should know by now that I love eggs, right? Eggs is my absolute favorite food in the world, just because of the ridiculous amount of things that you can do with eggs. So yeah. Boom, boom, boom. There Will Be Blood. It's his best movie. That's debatable. But it definitely is another very good movie for Daniel Day-Lewis. All right, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're talking about indirect questions today. It's a little bit of a long lesson because I'm going to introduce some things first, and I'm going to talk about some things before we actually get to the indirect part. Mahmoud, no, you're not late. The class is, I am literally just starting right now, right? I was just saying hi and hello and everything to everyone. So you're not late, and welcome to the class. So I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to introduce some things, and eventually we'll get to indirect questions, and hopefully nobody's going to have any problems with this after today's lesson. So first thing I want to talk about is question words. All right, so let's get to this. Let me take a swig of my coffee, and let's begin. All right. First thing I want to talk about is question words. So question words, and to be specific, I'm going to look at some of them. So what, which, and whose, and then plus a noun after that, right? So what plus a noun, or which plus a noun, or whose plus a noun, right? So very simply, let's first describe or explain how we use these before we get to the indirect questions. So it's very important to know what, which, and whose are usually used with nouns, right? Usually we use what, which, and whose with nouns. Now, which and what, in a lot of cases, you'll find that which and what are both possible without really changing or affecting the meaning of what you are saying too much, right? What does that mean? That means in most English sentences, it doesn't matter if I say which or it doesn't matter if I say what. Both are usually okay, and please notice that I am stressing on usually because English, I say this a lot, English is the language of exceptions. So every rule that I usually give you guys, there's always going to be something that doesn't follow the rule, right? An exception. So which and what are often both possible with little difference in meaning. Now, which is preferred. It's preferred to say or to use which when the speaker, you, the person who's using it, think that the answer is going to be limited, right? That means, and you'll see what I mean when I give you guys some examples, right? But just keep this in your head. When do we use which? It's mostly preferred to use which when in the speaker's mind you think that the answer to your question is going to be from a group of limited things, right? That you know. So just keep that in mind, and when we get to the examples, you'll see what I mean. Whose, very simply, just remember that whose is used when asking about possession. What do I mean by what happened there? I forgot how to talk for a second. That was really cool. It's like ba 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 ba. It's like I glitched or something like that. But anyway, so whose is used when asking about possession. So what do I mean by possession? It means who owns the thing. So if I'm talking about, if I don't know this cup or this coffee belongs to who, I'd say something like, hey, whose coffee is this? That means who does it belong to? Who's the owner of the coffee, right? So that's what we mean by possession. So whose is used when you want to ask who owns something, right? When you want to ask about possession. Whose book is on the table? JB, hello JB, and welcome to the class. JB is my right hand backup grammar guy who catches all the questions that I sometimes miss in the chat. For example, which color do you like most, red or black? Yes, fantastic. That's a very good example, Mahmoud, because in your mind, you know that there's a limited answer between red and black, right? So yes, I would use which in that example. Very nice. It's so nice. All right, let's continue. So here are some examples for you guys. What? I can say, for example, hey, what kind of pasta do you eat? What kind of pasta did you eat? Sorry. Which computer here is yours? Now, notice when I said which is preferred when the speaker, you, the guy who's asking the question, is thinking of a limited number of choices. So is there a limited number of choices here? Yes, because you're saying, hey, which computer here is yours, right? That means I know the answer is going to be one of the different options that are in my mind or different options that I can see. Whose coat is that? That means this coat, who does it belong to? Who's the owner of this coat? Which, again, right, we're just same examples again with different things really. So what size pants will you buy? Which street should I take, Main or Pender? And Main and Pender are two different streets here in Vancouver. Yes, that's exactly what it means, ain't the same the real. So ain't the same the real is saying, hey, I feel that which gives the idea of choosing between known options. And you are absolutely correct. Yes, that is exactly what I was trying to say. So you understand it perfectly, right? That's exactly what which is used for. Whose glasses are these? Again, same thing. Who's the owner of the glasses is what you are saying. Now, whose? What type of movies do you like? Same thing again. Right? They're all the same, really. We're just showing you different examples, basically. Which country are you from? Canada or the USA? Whose house do you live in? Right? Who's the owner of the house that you live in? All right, so hopefully this part is not complicated. I'll go over it one more time, right? Because this is important before we get to the indirect questions. So one more time. What, which, whose plus a noun. All you have to remember is usually we use these three words with nouns. Which and what most of the time, right? Or in a lot of different examples, you can switch. That means you can choose which one you want, and it's going to be okay. Which, however, is preferred when you know that the answer is going to be from a limited amount of options, right? Or things that you're thinking about. And whose finally is used for asking about possession. That means you want to know who is the owner of something, right? There we go. Ain't the same the real says it's a piece of cake. Very nice. All right, let's carry on. How plus an adjective or an adverb, right? So everybody should know this by now. I'll be very surprised if you guys don't, for this level at least. An adjective is a word that describes or adds extra information or adds it makes more emphasis, not emphasis, I shouldn't really say emphasis. It just words that add extra descriptions to a noun, right? So for example, I can say this is a door, and then I can say this is a tall door, right? So tall here, for example, is an adjective. And an adverb, this is the one that actually surprises me the most, because it's amazing. Most students remember what an adjective is, but they forget what an adverb is. And I'll tell you why that's weird for me, because adverb, there's a hint in the name of the word, right? It's called an adverb. Like the word verb is part of the word adverb. So you should remember that an adverb is or are words that we add to add extra meaning to verbs, right? So for example, he is eating, or I could say he is eating slowly, right? So slowly is describing how you're doing the action or the verb. So it's always amazing to me how students forget this one, but they remember adjective. So for example, here we go, right? So how plus an adjective or an adverb. So basically what we're saying is we can use how with adjectives, and we can also use how with adverbs. So for example, how far, right? How far is Whistler from Vancouver? So far here, I would say it's an adjective, right? So how far is Whistler from Vancouver? Yes, JB is doing a good job of explaining your question, Igor. How much did you pay? Again, right? So how much did you pay? How many times have you flown on an airplane? How often do you drink? How tall are you? How heavy is your bag? How fast can you run? And how many brothers and sisters do you have? Now, you guys should know this by now, right? We've talked about this stuff a lot in our previous lessons. And if you're in this level, which is 120, the intermediate level in Smrt, I don't think I really need to explain this part again, right? Just remember, we can use how with adjectives and adverbs. All right, now let's actually start talking about direct and indirect questions. Mansoor wants me to zoom. I don't know how much. I'm already at 175, Mansoor. I don't know if I can zoom anymore. Let's see. Yeah, this is okay, I guess. I can still see everything. All right, there we go. I hope that this is clearer. Vivek, between a choice between one or more things. Which? I would say which. Yeah, which. Which is what we use when you know that the answer is going to be part of a few things or limited things that you know about or that are in your mind. Judith says he eats slowly. Slowly is an adverb. Yes, that is correct. But he is a slow eater. Slow is an adjective. Yes, that is absolutely true. Boom, boom. Okay, so let's get to it. Direct and indirect questions. We use indirect questions to make a question sound softer, or in other words, more polite. So a lot of non-English speakers sometimes have problems because in their own languages, you have very specific words, right, that you use to show respect or to show that you are trying to be polite, depending on the person that you're talking to. Maybe they're older than you, or they have a higher position or a higher status, or something like that, right? So a lot of languages, I understand this, right? A lot of languages have very, very specific words, right? And sometimes just completely very different dialect if you want to show politeness or respect. In English, however, it's not so, right? It's not the case, really. We don't have a lot of really dedicated, right, or words that are specially made for those types of situations. So the way that we do it in English is we use indirect questions, right? If you want to sound a little bit more polite, instead of asking a question in a direct way, right, you ask it in an indirect way, right? And the idea is you're trying to express that, hey, I'm trying to be polite here, or I'm trying to show you a little bit of respect. So, for example, a direct question would be something like, hey, what time is it? What time is it? The indirect way, right, or the polite way of asking what time is it is, could you please tell me what time it is, right? So could you please tell me what time it is? And that is really it, right? That is how we make things sound more polite in English, right? That little, you start with could you or would you, and things like that, right? I'm going to show you a lot of examples today, and we're going to go over a few of them. But this is a very basic example of how you make a direct question into an indirect question. What time is it? Could you please tell me what time it is? Or could you please tell me what, could you tell me what time it is, please, right? So I can say please at the end. I could say could you please. It doesn't really matter. So let's take a look at the actual form now. So for the people that like the rules and the forms and things like that, let's take a look. One important thing to remember for this type of grammar is when we use this grammar, we do not use inversion, right? So this is really, really important to know here, right? When you use this style of grammar, in other words, when you're trying to ask indirect questions because you want to be polite or show respect, we do not use inversion. Now, what do I mean by inversion? Inversion means we do not put the auxiliary verb or the helping verb before the subject, right? We don't do that. In fact, the word order of an indirect question is the same, so it's not too hard to forget. It's the same as positive sentences. So let's take a look. One more time, right? When we use this grammar, we don't use inversion. What does that mean? That means I don't put my helping verbs or my auxiliary verbs, I don't put them before my subject. And it's the same exactly as a positive sentence. So let's take a look. Example number 1. A direct question would be an auxiliary verb plus a subject. So for example, you would say something like, where is he going? Where is he going? Where's he going? The indirect version, remember, what did I say? I said I don't use inversion. And this is inversion right here. Inversion is what? Is when you have the auxiliary verb before the subject, right? So where is he? And then going. Now, the indirect version, we don't use that. You don't use the inversion, right? So things go back to normal as in a positive sentence. So you would say something like, hey, do you know where he is going? Do you know where he is going? A positive sentence is the same. You would say he is going to the bathroom, right? So that's actually a very good way to remember that, right? If you forget, just say a positive sentence, and that's the form or that's the order, same order that you want for an indirect question. It is easy to be polite in this way. Yeah, that's the way we do it in English, right? In English, to sound polite or to appear a little bit more polite, we use indirect questions. Because it sounds, I'll tell you why, right? So in my, this is how I usually like to explain it. Think of it this way: if you're asking a direct question, it sounds like it sounds like you're not asking the person. It sounds like you're giving them an order to answer you, right? So if I say, hey, like here, for example, what time is it? It sounds like I'm expecting you to answer me, right? Like, hey, I asked you a question and I expect you to answer me. But if you say, could you please tell me what time it is? Now, that could you in the beginning, what does that do? It makes the listener feel like he has a choice, right? It makes the person that you're talking to feel like it's up to them. They can decide if they want to tell you or if they don't want to tell you, right? So that's where it comes from, right? Or that's why we consider it to be a little bit more polite. Instead of you expecting an answer, you're sort of like giving the person a choice, right? So think of it. That's how I usually explain it, if that makes sense. Let's take a look at another example. So the direct question would be, what languages can he speak, right? So if you notice, direct questions, they immediately start with our question words, right? What languages can he speak? Again, it sounds like I'm not really giving you the choice to answer me or not. It sounds like I asked you a question and I expect you to answer me. The indirect way, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea what languages she can speak? I'm not automatically assuming that you know the answer and that you're going to tell me. I'm giving you, again, the option to say no. Maybe you don't know, right? So it sounds like I'm being more considerate before I ask you the question. And I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to explain here. The positive sentence is she can speak English, right? So we're showing you the positive sentences. Why? So you can see that it has the same form, right, as the indirect question. In other words, we don't use inversion, right? We don't use inversion. And if some people have a problem remembering inversion and what inversion is and all that grammar rules and things like that, just think of it, like I said, remember what a positive sentence sounds like, right? It's the same as a positive sentence. All right, let's carry on. Example number 3, one more, why not? The direct question, what country was Jack born in? Again, I'm immediately asking you the question and it sounds like I'm expecting you to answer me, right? So what country was Jack born in? Now the indirect way, hey, do you happen to know? Do you happen to know? I'm not sure, maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? Do you happen to know what country Jack was born in? So again, it sounds like I'm being considerate enough to give you the option to answer, right? And that's why we say it sounds more polite. A positive sentence, Jack was born in Australia, right? Which, again, we're just writing the positive to show you that it's the same as the indirect question. Boom, boom, boom. Vivek is saying could is the past of can, but when we use it for asking indirect questions, we use could for asking something in a polite way. Yes, that's basically today's lesson. Exactly. Yeah, we say things like could or would to imply that you're trying to be polite. All right, let's carry on. Now, in the past simple and the present simple questions, do, did, and does appear in direct questions, just like positive sentences. Indirect questions do not need these auxiliaries, right? So again, it's the same as positive sentences, right? So one more time, in past simple and in the present simple questions, we use do, did, or does, right? Just like positive sentences, indirect questions do not need these auxiliary verbs. So let's take a look. The direct question, we would say something like, where does he live, right? We need the auxiliary verb does here. Where does he live? Now, if you're gonna try to sound polite, now it changes. You don't need the auxiliary anymore, and you would say, hey, could you tell me where he lives? And of course, live becomes lives. Positive sentences, he lives in North Vancouver. So again, we're just showing you the positive sentence. Why? So that you guys can remember that that's what the indirect sentence is like. If you have problems remembering the rules, right? Just remember the positive sentence. Vivek is saying, but we can't use could with the first person example. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this question. You're now talking about ability. You're not asking an indirect question. Remember, we're talking about asking, right? These are questions. So you're asking indirect questions. Yours is not, your example is not an indirect question. One more example. In the direct way, you need the auxiliary verb. So for example, I would say, when did Mary call? When did Mary call? The indirect way, we don't use the auxiliary, same as in the positive sentence. So you would say, do you know when Mary called? Do you know when Mary called? Same as the positive. Mary called, right? Mary called. That's what we mean, right? It means that it comes, this is the order, basically. Example number 3. Where do you do your homework? Where do you do your homework? And this is a good example. I'm going to talk about this one for a little bit. The indirect way would be, can you tell me where you do your homework? And the positive is, you do your homework at home. Now, sometimes, right? Sometimes some students will get confused in this example. Because do, if you notice here, do is also the main verb. It's not just an auxiliary verb. Where do you, right, is auxiliary, but this do is not the auxiliary verb, right? This is the main verb. So sometimes do can be the main verb of the sentence. Remember, in indirect questions or positive sentences, we do not need do, does, or did, but only as auxiliary verbs. If do is the main verb, well, then you have to use it. You can't really delete it from your positive sentence or from your indirect question. But if it's an auxiliary verb, yes, then you don't need it anymore, right? Only if it's a helping verb. So please don't be confused by this. That's why we have two do's in this example, right? One of them is an auxiliary verb. The other one is not. The other one is the main verb of the sentence. So only do this. Only follow this rule where we don't need do, did, or does, only if it's a helping verb, right? Only if it's an auxiliary verb. If do is the main verb, then you keep it, right? Don't take it out. I hope things are clear so far. I think so, because nobody is asking a lot of questions. One more time, either you guys are completely confused right now, or or you're just really, really listening at the moment. All right. I hope that you're not confused. I hope that everybody's getting what I'm talking about. Taking notes, that's good. All right, let's carry on. Or actually, let's take a look at these examples. Hey, do you know what James does for a living? Do you know what James does for a living? Could you please explain to me why you did that? Now, here, what am I trying to show you? I'm trying to show you that in all of these examples, do, does, and did, these are not auxiliary verbs. It's the main verb of the sentence. And that's why we included it even in our indirect question. So, hey, do you know what James does for a living? Could you please explain to me why you did that? I'm not sure when I'll do my laundry. I'm not sure when I'll do my laundry. So that's basically, these are just some examples to explain this point, right? One more time, what is this point? Excuse me. What we're saying is what? First thing that we said was when we have do, did, or does as an auxiliary verb, when you write an indirect question, you do not need the auxiliary verb, right? You take them out and then it becomes just as if it's a positive sentence, the form of it. Now, sometimes do is not an auxiliary verb. Sometimes it's not a helping verb. Sometimes it's the main verb. So don't get confused by those types of sentences, right? If do is the main verb, keep it. You only take it out if it's a helping verb or if it's an auxiliary verb. And I hope that makes things clear. One more thing I'll also give you guys today is indirect questions using if and whether. And remember, there is no difference between the meanings of if and whether. They're both words that you can interchange. That means you can use them, you can take one out and put the other in, and the meaning is the same. So if there is no question word in your question, like when, where, who, or what, or why, or any of the question words, right? If you don't have a question word in your question, it is because the question is a yes or no question. And that makes sense, right? So let's take a look at it, right? Let's say what they're saying. They're saying if you don't have a question word in your sentence, that means it's a yes or no question. Is that true? That is true. Let's take a look. If I say, what kind of pasta did you eat? Can I say yes? No, right? That's a very strange answer to this question. If somebody looks at you and says, hey, what kind of pasta do you eat? And you say, yes. That's just really weird, right? If somebody says, hey, which computer here is yours? No. Again, that's a very weird answer. Whose coat is that? I'm asking you, who's the owner? Hey, whose coat is this? Yes. Again, very, very strange. So it should make sense in your mind. Question words, or questions that start with question words, I can never answer them with yes or no. I can't just say yes, right? So then this point should make sense to you guys. It should make sense to say, if there is no question word in your sentence, that means this is a yes or no question. What does it mean? What does a yes or no question mean? It means it's a question that I can very simply answer by saying yes or no. I don't have to continue saying a lot of things. If I just say yes, you'll understand. If I say no, you will understand. Are you guys? You guys are okay in the chat? Okay, you guys are okay in the chat. Good. So what happens if you don't have a question word? Well, then we use if or whether man, I have a problem talking today. I don't know why. My voice keeps stopping somewhere, and then I just can't continue the word after it. It's very weird. Anyway, let's carry on. So, for example, is he from Thailand? Now, is this a yes or no question? Yes, it is, because if I say yes, you will understand the answer. I don't need to say anything after yes. If I say no, again, you will still understand my answer, right? I don't have to say no and then continue talking after no, right? So this is a yes or no question. So how do we turn a yes or no question into an indirect question? We use if or whether. So let's take a look. Hey, do you know if he is from Thailand? Hey, do you know whether he's from Thailand? And then again, you can just answer yes, or you can answer no, and that's it. Is it almost lunchtime? Is this a yes or no question? Yes, it is. Because again, if I say yes, if I just say yes and stop talking, you'll understand my answer. Is it almost lunchtime? No. And then stop talking, again, you will understand my answer. So this is a yes or no question. Another hint that it's a yes or no question is there is no question word, right? There are no words like when or how or who or what or anything like that, right? So that's another hint, or that's another way to know if it's a yes or no question. So same thing again. If I want to make this into an indirect question, I have to use if or whether. And by the way, if you guys have problems with if or whether, I did a lesson about that before. Again, I am not sure what number the lesson was. Judith is the person that usually is really, really good at this. She knows what I taught when. But yeah, I did a lesson before on if and whether. So if you're not sure how to use that, please go and find it. Were the shoes expensive? Hey, were the shoes expensive? Can I answer this with a yes? If I say yes, yeah, that means yes, they are expensive. You'll understand that. If I say no, again, you'll understand that no, they're not expensive. So, same thing. To make this an indirect question, we ask using if or whether. So, hey, do you remember if the shoes were expensive or not? Hey, do you remember whether shoes were expensive? And then you can say again, yes or no. Did it rain last night? All of the examples are the same. Did it rain last night? This is a yes or no question. So you can say, hey, do you happen to know if or whether it rained last night? And again, you can say yes or you can say no, and people will understand your answer. Now, that's really the gist, or basically that's the lesson today. This stuff at the end here, these are all just different ways, right? These are all different ways or very common ways to ask indirect questions. What do I mean? I mean, you don't always have to start with, hey, could you? You don't always have to start with, do you happen to know, right? So these are different ways for you guys to do that, right? So different ways to ask indirect questions. Could you tell me? Hey, could you tell me whether there's so indirect questions are very similar to affirmative sentences or positive sentences. Yes, in the form, right? In the order of the words, Igor. Yes, they are. Pretty Yeti. That's a cool name. I like that name. Pretty Yeti. Hello, Pretty Yeti. Welcome to the class. Thank you for coming. It's a little bit towards the end, but I appreciate your intention for coming. But yes, Igor, you are right. So one more time, common ways to ask indirect questions. Could you tell me, could you tell me where the bathroom is? Could you tell me if there's going to be a live class today or not? Do you know? Hey, do you know if there's a live class today or not? Again, yes or no, right? Do you happen to know? Do you happen to know where the bathroom is? Do you happen to know if we're going to be doing blah, 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 blah today? Have you got any idea? You can also say, do you have any idea? Do you remember? Hey, do you remember when the last time was, or when was the last time that I logged into my account, for example? Can I use may for indirect questions? Yeah, I don't see why not. You can say something like yeah, you can, but just don't forget that may is only used when you're asking about things that you want to do, right? You can't use it for others, right? Like it's not something that they are going to do or something that they know or are going to reply. You're asking for usually for permission for yourself to do something, right? But yeah, I would say yeah. I think is 38. What is 38? I have no idea what you guys are talking about. What is 38? I have no idea. I don't know what the 38 comment is related to. So that's it, right? So these are just some extra ways for you guys to ask indirect questions, right? Could you tell me? Do you know? Do you happen to know? Have you got any idea? Do you have any idea? Do you remember? Would you mind telling me? And that's it, basically. Some expressions. Remember, these are not questions, right? These are just some expressions. I don't know whether we're going to be going to this event later on today or not. I don't know if I can do this for you. I wonder if it's possible. I wonder where something went, right? I've got no idea. I'd like to know, and I'm not sure. These are okay, these expressions, but I would like it if you guys focus on these, right? Because these are pretty common, and a lot of people basically, like, you don't always say the same thing the same way, right? It's very common to change between these different ways of asking the indirect question. And that is really today's lesson, you guys. So I'll very, very quickly go over all the main points again. Very, very quick. And remember, I always recommend if something is not 100%, please watch the lesson again at your own pace. It's usually easier when you can control things and you can pause the video, look at something that I'm talking about, think about what I'm saying. So please just watch the video again, and hopefully I've explained things in an easy to understand manner. So let's go. Here we go. Quick revision or quick recap. Abdul Karim Hadadi. Hello, Karim. We have almost the same last name. We do? No, we don't. I'm sorry, but we don't. My last name is Saleh. So I don't know how we have the last same name. Your last name is Hadadi. So I don't know how that is the same. All right, so here we go. Very, very quick recap on today's lesson. Question words. Words like what, which, whose, plus a noun. Remember, which and what most of the time, right? Most of the time, not always, there's always an exception in English, but most of the time, you can change or switch these words and you're not going to really affect the meaning that much. Which, we prefer to use which when you, the person who's asking the question, in your mind, you are thinking that the answer is going to be from a limited choice of things. That's why we sometimes use which. Whose is used when asking about possession. What does possession mean? It means who is the owner, right? You don't know who owns, or you don't know what something or who something belongs to. So you're asking about that. Do you remember if I gave you the recipe of the Spanish omelet? You told me about it, Gertrudis, but you did not give me the recipe. No, you didn't. So please give me the recipe, right? You can do that on the Discord, right? So share the recipe with me on the Discord. And I'm probably not going to follow the recipe 100% because I usually don't like to follow recipes. I always like to make my own stuff. But I'll try not to change it too much, right? I'll try to keep it as close to your original recipe as possible. Giovanni De Silva is saying, it is my first time and I liked it because you speak very fast. I don't always speak very fast. I sometimes slow down. But yeah, I try also to speak as sometimes, right? During the lessons, I'll pronounce things sometimes very, very clearly, and sometimes during the same lesson, I'll speak a little bit fast because I want to give you guys a chance also to hear how things are said when I'm not using my teacher's voice. But great, I'm happy you enjoyed the lesson, Giovanni. Thank you for coming. It's nice to have you. All right, let's carry on. So we're just doing a revision, right? I'm not going to go over the examples again, just the explanations. How plus an adjective or how plus an adverb, right? So you guys should know this by now. We can use how with adjectives and adverbs. How far is Whistler? How much do you pay? And you can take a look at all these examples later. Direct and indirect questions, which is the main topic of today. The most important thing to remember is what? When we use indirect questions, it means what? It means we don't use inversion. What is inversion? Inversion means when you use or when you put the helping verb or your auxiliary verb, right? Another word for auxiliary verb is helping verb. Before the subject, right? We don't do that. And a good way to remember it is it's the same form or order as in positive sentences. So for example, a direct question would be, where is he going, right? Where is he going? The auxiliary comes first and then the subject. In an indirect question, it's the same as a positive sentence. So you say, hey, do you know where he is going? Not where is he going, right? Same as the positive. He is going. In the indirect question, do you know where he is going? Right? That's it. So that's the important rule here, right? We don't use inversion in an indirect question. In the past simple and the present simple questions, usually do, did, and does appear in direct questions. Just like positive sentence though, indirect questions do not need this. One more time, we use did, do, or does in direct questions. In an indirect question, again, we don't need the helping verbs. We don't need the auxiliary verbs. So direct, where does she live? Indirect, could you tell me where he lives, right? Does not exist anymore, right? We took it out, or we killed it. Or it transformed into the S at the end of the verb. Whichever way makes it easy for you to remember. However, please don't get tricked by do, does, or did when they are the main verb, right? Because remember, do, did, or does are usually helping verbs, but sometimes they can be the main verb. So in other words, all I'm saying is this rule here, this rule about we don't use these in the indirect questions, this only happens if they are helping verbs. If it's the main verb, then keep it, right? We don't take out the main verb, because then the meaning of the sentence is weird, right? Or it might not mean anything. Indirect questions using if and whether. Remember, if you don't have a question word, what are question words? Words like when, where, who, what, why, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot, right? If you don't have any question words, that means that this is a yes or no question. Yes or no means what? It means that I can answer this question very simply by just saying yes or no, and you will completely understand my answer. So, one more time. If you have a yes or no question, then to ask that question in an indirect way, you need to use if or whether. And please go back to my lesson on if and whether. If you haven't seen it before, I explained them in detail in that lesson. For example, do you know if he is from Thailand, right? This is a yes or no question. So remember, yes or no questions, indirect, you have to use if or whether. And at the end, I gave you guys some very, very common ways. Instead of always saying, do you remember, or do you know, or do you happen to know, right? You can, or could you, right? So these are different ways of saying it. Could you tell me? Do you know? Do you happen to know? Have you got any idea? Do you have any idea? Do you remember? And would you mind telling me? And that is it. So yeah, that's basically today's lesson, you guys. You guys have been writing a lot of really good examples, and JB, you are a champ. You've been answering a lot of the questions that I don't have time for. So thank you for that, JB. I appreciate it always. So let me, guys, give you the exercise. Let me give you the exercise. Boom. What do I need to do? I need to make a copy like so, like so. And dun 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 dun. Oh, you're very welcome, Igor. That makes me happy. Thank you for understanding the lesson. It's great. It makes me happy when students feel or think that they've learned something or that something was useful for them. That's great. You made my day. Thank you. Gloria, great. I'm glad you guys are finding this helpful. I'm usually worried about if I'm explaining things easily enough, or if I'm explaining things simply enough, or in a way that most people will understand. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see that people get it. That's good. All right, here we go. This is your copy. Let me change the sharing. Blah 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 blah. Where is it? There we go. Change. Anyone with the link, say save, and I say done. And I should have copied the link. There we go. Copy the link. Done. And of course, as usual, I have been signed out from the chat. Man, Google, stop signing me out. Sign in. Please let me sign in. Can I sign in? There we go. I'm in. All right. So here it is, you guys. The link to the exercise that you guys can see on the screen right now. Please download this and make a copy basically for yourself. I like to remind people every few weeks, please, anything that I share with you, if I share with you a document, please always make your own copy. That means go here, click on File, and then say Make a Copy. The reason for this is you might not find the document after some time passes, right? Because every now and then I sit and I clean all the extra stuff that I don't use or the things that I just have too much of. So please, if you don't want to lose anything that I share with you, always, right, make it a habit. The first thing you do after you open the document, before you do anything, before you read, before you try to type, always make a copy. Okay, let's, you guys want to do some exercises? I'm going to do an accent now. Who wants to do some exercises? You are welcome, Mohammed. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. You're very, very welcome. Pilar says yes. Gertrude says me. Noor says I do. Sumanta says me. Jacqueline gives the one very cool handout. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not surprised. A lot of you want to do the exercise. I don't even know why I ask anymore. So here we go. JB says yes. All right. Actually, I finished much earlier than I was expecting to finish, which is kind of cool. So let's see. Yeah, let's start with one. Let's start with oh, there's a new person in the chat. You're Lennis, Sophia. Hello and welcome to the chat. And I'm very sorry to the class, and I'm very sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. All right, so let's do number one, you guys, and let's go for B, C, D, E, and F. Why not? B, C, D, E, and F. Let me write that so I don't forget. B, C, D, E, and F. I'll give you guys a minute. I don't think you need more time than a minute. This is easy, or I believe in you. So I'll give you guys a minute and I'll come back. Remember, all you have to do is write the correct question word, right? So it's very easy. We're going to start very, very easy. B, C, D, E, and F. And I am going to get out of your faces right now. Bam, like that. I'm going to play the music and I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. All right, let's see what you guys are doing. You guys are doing good, I think. I've been seeing your answers, and you guys always do good when we do the questions, which is nice. It's a very nice thing. It's so nice. All right, so let's see. All right, so the first picture we have, this is Robson Street, and by the way, Robson Street is about 10 seconds away, or, well, not 10 seconds, 30 seconds away, or a minute walk from here, from the studio right now. So, something street should I take? Georgia or Robson, right? So you have two choices here. You know that the answer is going to be one of these two. So, you should have said which. Remember, which is what we prefer to use as a question word when you know, you, the speaker, or the person who's asking the question, you know that the answer is going to probably be from a limited choice, right, of things. So which, so everybody who wrote that, very good. C, there's a Santa Claus costume hanging, or a coat and a hat. And something coat is that. So I would say the most one that makes sense here is whose, right? Whose coat is that? That means who is the owner, right? Who does this coat belong to? D, something kind of pasta did you eat? Something kind of pasta did you eat? Now, I could say here, what? Hey, what kind of pasta did you eat? So maybe imagine the situation, right? You went out for lunch, you came back, and you're like, hey, where did you go for lunch? And I'm like, oh, I had pasta. Or what did you have for lunch? I had pasta. And I'm like, oh, what kind of pasta did you have? Or what kind of pasta did you eat? Because I don't know, right? What he could have had, there could have been a lot of different options, right, that I have no idea about. So I would say what is more common here. Now, just to make this a little bit clear, let me change the situation a little bit and see how the answer changes. Now, imagine we are sitting at the restaurant, right? So me and the person, my friend, we're sitting at the restaurant and we're looking at a menu. Now, this is my first time in this restaurant, but my friend comes here all the time. So I'm looking at the menu and I can see all the different pasta items on the menu. So I can ask him and say something like, hey, which kind of pasta do you recommend? Why did I say which now for the same situation? Not the same situation, for the same sentence, because now I can see it, right? There's a menu in front of me. I know how many choices there are. So it makes more sense to say which pasta do you recommend, not what, right? Because I know that the answer is going to be one of the items on the list. So I hope that makes it clear, right? Why I can say what, and how, if the situation changes, I can say which. E, fast can you run? So most of you got this. How fast, right? How fast? I'm asking you how much, right? Basically, how fast can you run? And the last one is F. Country are you from? Again, I would say what, right? Now, some people would say, yeah, but countries are limited in the world. And I'm like, yeah, I know they're limited, but there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of countries in the world, and he can say anything from anywhere. I might not be able to guess. Maybe, for example, if I know that he comes from a country in South America, for example, then I'll say, oh, which one? Oh, you come from South America, which country? Because I know now that, oh, South America only has about blah, 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 blah countries, right? And that's it. But yeah, for this one, for a very general question, like when you have no idea about the person, I would say what, right? So what country are you from? Is Muqafta. Hello, Muqafta, and welcome to the class. Is everyone here Arabic? No, not everybody's here. Not everyone here is Arabic. There are lots of people from all over the world. Not everybody is Arabic. Clear. All right, Naima says it's clear. Let's do, just for fun, let's do a different type of question, since the main lesson is indirect questions, not question words. Let's. Actually, yeah, this is a good exercise. Let's do number 2, right? So number 2 says change the direct questions. So they're direct questions. You have to change them to indirect questions. So for example, how far is it to the park from school? How far is it to the park from school? The indirect way would be, hey, do you happen to know? Or hey, do you know how far? Now notice, no inversion, it is to the park from school, right? So this is a good exercise. Let's do that, and let's do a few of here. So let's do C, D, E, and F. Let's just do 4 this time, right? Because it might take some of you some time. So C, D, E, and F. C, D, E, and F. I'll be back again in a minute. Let me first get out of your face. So, like that. And I'll see you guys in a minute. C, D, E, and F. And we're back with my sound effects. All right, let's see what you guys did for this, and then I will let you guys go. All right, so C, there's a picture here, girl and probably her dad. What are you going to do after school? Have you decided? Is how they want you to start the sentence. Of course, you can say, do you know, or do you happen to know, or anything, right? But have you decided? So we're saying, have you decided? The answer is, as most of you have got this correctly, very well done. Have you decided what you are going to do after school? Have you decided what you're going to do after school? So good job to everybody who got that right. D, where did you leave your keys? Where did you leave your keys? So that's the direct way of asking this question. And the answer would be, as again, most of you have got this correct, so very well done, you guys. Do you remember where you left your keys? So instead of saying, where did you, right, leave your keys, you said, do you remember where you left your keys? And of course, we deleted did in this example because did is an auxiliary verb, right? Remember, in the indirect, we don't use the auxiliary. You keep it only if it's a main verb. Dun, 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 dun. Next, E, it says, is it going to rain tonight? Is it going to rain tonight? So again, you're saying, now, notice, does this question have a question word? No, it doesn't. So that means this is a yes or no question. That means I can answer with yes or no. So because of that, the indirect way, you have to use if or whether. So very good job for everybody who got this one correct. Have you checked? And you can say if or whether it is going to rain tonight. And the last one, I believe we said we will also do F. F says, what time is it? What time is it? And the answer for that one is, do you know what time it is? Not is it, right? And you guys, hopefully, if you're not sure why we answered specific ways, please go back and check the lesson today. But that's pretty much it. I think a lot of you guys are actually getting it, right? So I would say most of you get it. I don't see a lot of mistakes, to be honest, which is good. All right, so that's that's pretty much it for today. Before I forget, I already shared with you the questions or the exercise sheet. I'll also, let me just first make a copy. And let me change the sharing privileges. Change. Anyone with the link, say yes. Okay. Yes. Boom, 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 boom. Copy. And we're done. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a copy of the answers, right? So you can check out the answers. So this is the answers. And for the people that are asking also about the actual exercise, if you've missed it, I'll also give you the exercise again, right? So now you have the answers and the exercise so you guys can practice at home, right? So practice as much as you can, try to answer as much as you can, and you can check yourself if you are correct or not. Khalil, there you go, Khalil. I just put the links in right now. All right, so that's that's pretty much today's lesson, really. So let me let me go through my outro. I'll do my outro, and then I will do movie quote of the week for this week, and then I'll let you guys fly away, and I'll leave. You are welcome. You're very welcome, Gertrudis. My pleasure as always. because could is not the past of could here, of can. We're using could as a way to ask the indirect question. Mansour is asking, why don't we change the tense in the indirect speech to the past? Because it's not the past. Could is not the past of can in this in this situation. I'm using it to ask an indirect question, and that's the form for it, right? That's how we that's the form for the way we ask indirect questions. You are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. No problem. Stop thanking me, you guys. No need to say thank you. You are very, very welcome. It's my pleasure. Okay, so let me do my outro very quickly, and then I will give you guys movie quote of the week, and you can try to beat summer this week, and then I'll get out of your face. So you guys are watching this awesome free English class on the amazing Smrt English YouTube channel. So please, if you have not done so yet, hit the subscribe button, consider that, and hit the bell notification button. And please, you've watched the entire video till the end now, so hey, if you like this video, I would appreciate it a lot if you guys can give this video a thumbs up, or give it a like, please. Like it if you like it. If you don't like it, well then give us a thumbs down. Why not, right? It tells us what videos we need to maybe work on better and things like that. So please, you guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference for us as a channel, because it helps us grow, right? It tells YouTube about us, and YouTube tries to make more people that are similar to you guys, or have similar interests to see our videos. So please like this video if you like it, give it a thumbs down if you don't, but react somehow to it. On the same channel, Smrt English, if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll find my face, boop-de-boop, on my face, and it will take you to, let me boop-de-boop. There we go. I boop-de-booped my face. And it'll take you to my page, which is called Smrt English with Karim. I have some different videos on this channel. It's called Smrt English with Karim, one more time. And you can see Gertrudis here with me. So I shoot very small videos, right, compared to these long lessons that I do, right? So 2 minutes, 3 minutes, a minute sometimes. I show you Vancouver, and some videos I also I play a little idioms or phrasal verb game with you guys. So please come and check me out over there. You can also subscribe to me over there if you want, but come and check me out. You might find some videos that you'll enjoy. One more thing, I also have a private channel, and it's called Food AF. And this is my private channel on YouTube. It's not really English related. It's not part of Smrt. This is just my own channel. It's called Food AF, and as you can see or guess, I really like to cook, and I like to feed people, and I like to eat. So if you like food, or you're interested in food, please come and watch my channel. You might learn something. All the recipes are original. They're mine. I don't copy anyone's recipe, and yeah, hopefully you'll find something interesting that you might like. So that's Food AF. I also, for the people who keep asking, how do we donate? How do we donate? How do we donate? Or how do we give you guys some money, or whatever it is, right? A lot of people, for some reason, ask us this question. So we've made this page. It's called smartenglish.com. And please don't get confused by this subscribe button. This is not YouTube, right? So please don't be scared to hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. That is free, right? This is always going to be free. But on our webpage, smartenglish.com, if you think, or you appreciate, or you think that what Kent and I do is useful or has any kind of value, and you guys want to show us a little appreciation for that, that's what we set this up for, right? So it's $5 a month if you want, and you can cancel at any time, to me or to Kent or to both of us or to none of us. And that's what's important. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but it's there if you want it. The other way that you guys can use is through the chat. So through the chat, click on the $sign at the bottom, click on send a super chat, and basically you can control how much money you want to donate to your streamer, sorry. And that's pretty much it, right? So there's two ways to do that: from the chat box or from the smartenglish.com page. The difference is the chat is only once. The Smrt English is $5 every month until you cancel it, and you can cancel at any time. That is it, I believe. Two more things. Learn English on Facebook with Smrt. A lot of you were asking me some questions today in the chat that I did not answer. I apologize for that, but otherwise the classes will never end, right? So I try usually to focus on things that we're talking about in the lesson, and just simply I don't have time sometimes, right, to answer every single question. So this is where you do that. If you have a question that's related to English, vocabulary, grammar, whatever it is really, right? I really recommend that you post a question on our Facebook group. The group is called Learn English on Facebook with Smrt. It's a large group. It's by membership, so we do kick out people that don't behave. But yeah, you can basically ask whatever you want on this in this group, and somebody is always going to answer you. It's very active. It's quite large. There's more than 25,000 people in the group, and it's very, very active. Also, this is where usually most of the new updates or anything that's related to Smrt that's happening, this is where we post about it, right? So today's lesson, for example, I posted about it here a few hours earlier. So please come and join our group on Facebook. The last thing is the Discord, which I think I just shared it with you guys. Anyway, here's the link one more time. So this is Discord, and yeah, Discord is a cool place. It's been quiet the last week. I'm not sure why, but you guys were more active than this before. Maybe it's because of summer and people are getting busy and they're having fun. But yeah, please come and join us on the Discord. It's a nice place for us also to chat, share pictures, funny videos, things like that. Come and join the family over there. And that is it. Let me go big. The go big sound. Let's do that one more time. Like that. All right. You're welcome, Judith. It is my pleasure. I hope you have a fantastic rest of day wherever you are. You're very, very welcome, Judith. All right. So I'm going to do a movie quote of the week for anybody who is new. If today is your first time, here, let me explain the rules. They're very, very simple. I am going to say a quote from a movie, and you have to guess what the movie is. But it's very, very important. Please don't type or write the answer now. Not in the chat box right now. If you type it in the chat box, I will delete it and I will ignore it. And you're also going to help other people win. So it's not a good thing, right? If you know the answer, wait. I will say bye-bye at the end of this video. I'll close the video. I will play music for 1 minute. And then I'll close the video, and then you can type your answer in the comment section below this video, right? So one more time, don't type the answer in the chat. Wait until the video is finished and type it in the comment section below. The person that everybody wants to beat is Smrt. Smrt is the well, I shouldn't say undisputed champion because she lost, I think, 2 or 3 times before. But Smrt is definitely the person that you want to beat in this competition because she is fast, super fast. So yeah. So Smrt is the person that you want to beat. All right, so here we go. Remember, I'll say the quote. Don't tell me in the chat now. Great channel. Oh, thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that a lot. I'm glad that you like it. Anybody? Everybody's good? Nothing that I missed that's important in the chat? Okay. I don't think I missed anything. People just saying thank you. You guys are welcome. All right, here we go. Where's the movie quote? Let me find the movie quote. All right, now this is a cool movie. It's actually this movie actually has a lot of layers, and you need to watch it a couple of times if you want to really see a lot of the things that they sort of mention without mentioning in the movie. It's really cool, very, very cool movie. Some people say it's a bit complicated, but I love this movie. It's one of my favorites. And basically, this is the quote. So there are 2 people talking. The first person says, "This has become a large problem, Avi." And then Avi answers and says, "There's no such thing as problems, Mr. Green. Only situations." One more time. "This has become a large problem, Avi." "There's no such thing as problems, Mr. Green. Only situations." And that is it. That is the movie quote of the week for this week. Please, if you know the answer, don't tell me now. Wait until after the video is done and put it in the comment section below. And that is pretty much it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the lesson today. So thank you so much for coming and spending this hour and a half with me. I cannot thank you enough, and I cannot tell you how much I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for spending your time with me, you guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic week until I see you next Wednesday. So that's next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Vancouver time. And I think I have 2 or 3 more lessons or streams before I go on vacation in August. So so the next 3 lessons are going to be the last lessons that I do before I go on vacation. But when I go on vacation, I think I'm still going to put up some of the short, funny, or cool videos that I put up on my other channel. So even if there's not going to be, or if there isn't going to be any classes, I'll still post some videos, and hopefully you guys get some fun out of that. So that's it. So beautiful people of the internet, smart students everywhere. Until I see you next Wednesday, have a good morning, a good evening, and definitely a good night. Shapow!